Hello, and welcome back to the Outgrowth Deep Dive series. Today we're taking a look at the Reflect engine. I'm doing a series on each of Outgrowth's 5 engines, and today we're looking at Reflect, which is kind of a looper, which is a unique looper in that we're going to kind of play a section of the sample over and over again, but the length of that section is going to be agnostic of the pitch of the note. So, what do I mean by that? It's easiest just kind of to show it. So I'm going to play one note. And you can hear we're just playing that note back and forth, kind of playing through it and then reversing and playing back. That's what this ping pong indicates, by the way. But what if I play a note and a note an octave higher as well? So even though those two notes had different pitches, which means that we're playing the sample at different speeds, the length of the loop was locked and they were equivalent to each other. So this is a really nice algorithm for creating something rhythmic. We can kind of sustain a part of the loop indefinitely, but we can do it in this really unique way where everything we play is kind of rhythmically related. And we kind of get this like push and pull, this like breathing motion, which I think is really fun. If you don't want that, tidal motion, you could just play it forward. We could play it backward. But I do really like the ping pong, which is our default option. So I think this is really fun, and I should note also that that length can be synced to the BPM in your DAW. So if you want to, just do like 8th notes or 16th notes or whatever, that's also totally possible as well. So I think this is fun for a couple reasons. It's kind of like, it's a looper that you can play with your hands, which I don't think is very typical. And one thing that's cool about this is that you can kind of manually offset the loops to each other. So if you were to play all the notes at the exact same time, they're all going to move through the same sections of the sample concurrently, but you can play them kind of one at a time and kind of decide how they're going to line up. And when you have a sample like this that has a kind of strong transient at the front of it, it kind of creates this natural rhythm to it. But you could also kind of you could kind of isolate a section of the sample that doesn't have any transients really, and you can quickly get into a kind of more abstract effect. I feel like in that case, you barely hear the loop to it. We're just kind of sustaining like this sound. But you could do something like sync that to quarter notes or something. Could be really nice as like a basis for a track, just kind of like an under, just like a little texture or atmosphere running under everything. I think it's really cool that you could kind of build that texture, but you are playing it on the keyboard, which is not something that I don't think has been super possible before. I think you may have had the experience of kind of copy pasting audio around on the timeline in your DAW. Paste this, paste it again, reverse it, paste that, paste it again, reverse it, whatever. That's a really nice effect, but you can just play it here, and I think that's pretty cool. So the next thing I want to point out is that if a loop that we try to play is too long, we will subdivide the length of the loop. So what do I mean by that? Think about this. If we're playing a loop, if that's how long the loop is at C5, here, I'll move this back. That's how long the loop is at C5. If I play it at C6, we need a loop that's twice as long to play the same rhythm, right? So what happens if I put this near the end? And if I play that C6, we're going to run out of sample. So in order to address that, Reflect is automatically going to subdivide a loop length such that it can still play something, and it's not going to run out of sample, and it will still be rhythmically relevant. So in this case, we'll just play a loop that is half the size. It's a little hard to hear, but that top line is repeating twice as fast as the lower note. But it still sounds related because, it's half the size of the loop. We're just adjusting it and going from there. So we have something that is still rhythmically related, which I think is a nice effect. And finally, I just want to point out for the sound design folks, your loops can go pretty short. We can go down pretty much into audio rates if we want. Which is fun because, remember, all the loops are the same size, so we almost get this like overtone. Which I think is super fun. So that's just a nice little way that you can kind of stretch this engine into oblivion if you want. So I would check out Reflect if you're looking for something rhythmic, something that can sustain your sample indefinitely. And like we saw, it can either kind of provide this, rhythmically relevant texture, or it can be pretty abstract. So I think that this is a really fun engine just for kind of taking things to the next level with Outgrowth. And, we're not just playing samples anymore, Toto. Now we are looping them, we're stretching them, we're doing whatever. So I would check out Reflect if you haven't already. And thanks for your interest in Outgrowth. I'll see you in the next one.